I mastered that feelin'; and, friend Cap, what is almost as good, I mastered my rival in as fair a shooting match as was ever witnessed in a garrison, he with his piece, and I with Killdeer, and before the General in person, too." Here Pathfinder stopped to laugh, his triumph still glittering in his eyes and glowing on his sunburnt and brown cheek. "Well, the next conflict with the devil was the hardest of them all, and that was when I came suddenly upon a camp of 6 Mingos asleep in the woods, with their guns and horns piled in a way that enabled me to get possession of them without waking a miscreant of them all. What an opportunity that would have been for the Sarpent, who would have dispatched them, one after another, with his knife, and had their 6 scalps at his girdle, in about the time it takes me to tell you the story. Oh, he's a valiant warrior, that Chingachgook, and as honest as he's brave, and as good as he's honest." "And what may you have done in this matter, Master Pathfinder?" demanded Cap, who began to be interested in the result. "It seems to me you had made either a very lucky or a very unlucky landfall." "'Twas lucky, and 'twas unlucky, if you can understand that. 'Twas unlucky, for it proved a desperate trial; and yet 'twas lucky, all things considered, in the end. I did not touch a hair of their heads, for a white man has no natural gifts to take scalps; nor did I even make sure of one of their rifles. I distrusted myself, knowing that a Mingo is no favorite in my own eyes." "As for the scalps, I think you were right enough, my worthy friend; but as for the armament and the stores, they would have been condemned by any prize court in Christendom." "That they would, that they would; but then the Mingos would have gone clear, seeing that a white man can no more attack an unarmed than a sleeping enemy. No, I did myself, and my color, and my religion too, greater justice. I waited till their nap was over, and they well on their war path again, and by ambushing them here and flanking them there, I peppered the blackguards intrinsically like" Pathfinder occasionally caught a fine word from his associates and used it a little vaguely "that only one ever got back to his village, and he came into his wigwam limping. Luckily, as it turned out, the great Delaware had only halted to jerk some venison, and was following on my trail, and when he got up he had 5 of the scoundrels' scalps hanging where they ought to be. So you see, nothing was lost by doing right, either in the way of honor or in that of profit." Cap grunted an assent, though the distinctions in his companion's morality, it must be owned, were not exactly clear to his understanding. The two had occasionally moved towards the block as they conversed, and then stopped again as some matter of more interest than common brought them to a halt. They were now so near the building, however, that neither thought of pursuing the subject any further, but each prepared himself for the final scene with Sergeant Dunham. Chapter